Ahead, my dear.
All right. Well, welcome to Unity of Wichita. I'm excited to be back. I've been on vacation for a little bit. It was much needed. So that was fantastic. And it's good to be back here on Zoom here with Unity of Wichita. And I want to welcome all of you. I am Patty Yoon. I will be your platform leader today. Today, we will be hearing a message from Art Handy. Our meditation and affirmations will be by Monique Boyd. We're featuring the music of John John Stringer will be our music today. And Sam Jones, as always, is behind the scenes doing her magical powers as the behind the scenes Zoom and Facebook wizard. So we are so grateful for all of us working together to make the Zoom magic happen. Our greatest desire is that you are inspired by the music, the message, the meditation today. We are blessed by your presence here today. And the power of the month is order. The power of order. It's the ability to organize, sequence, balance, and adjust. And believe me, I need this power very, very much. So with that power of order, let's say together our mission statement. There it is. To inspire spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And once again, with that power of order, let's say our statement of being together. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. And that is fantastic. And we have our celebration of birthdays this month. So you are a wonderful reason to celebrate. And we are glad you are here. So if it's your birthday today, wave in your little video picture, wave. And you are blessed. And we are blessed that you are here. So yay. Again, we want to thank everyone who is watching our service live or later on Facebook and on YouTube. And we especially want to welcome anyone who is here for the very first time, experiencing our Unity Sunday experience for the very first time. We are honored to have you join us this morning, and we hope that you are blessed by today's service and that we will all get to see each other in person very, very soon. Unity is a worldwide ministry dedicated to the ongoing awareness of the spirit within all. We invite you to consider our teachings if they work for you, fit into your life, wherever you may be on your spiritual journey. Keep what works for you and just gently release the rest. We will now bless everyone who is watching. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. And we will now have our first song.
I love Dale's question today about what can I give? And the answer about being the one who sees with eyes of love and sees perfection beyond the appearance of things. To me, that's a type of vision that's rare in the world of form. But we can all be that friend, that brother, that sister, lending that presence. It's rare to find a friend that's genuine, that's everything a friend could be. I hope you understand that I am grateful, I am thankful that you've become that friend to me. I pray that God gives you everything you want and everything you need. I pray He blesses you and yours with extraordinary peace. And we are here to celebrate you and all the things you mean, and to show you you are truly, truly loved. You see, hey, yeah, yeah, you're truly loved. You see, hey, yeah, you're truly loved. You see, truly loved. You see. It's rare to find a friend that's genuine. It's everything a friend could be. And I hope you understand that I am grateful, I am thankful that you've become that friend to me. I pray that God gives you everything you want and everything you need. I pray she blesses you and yours with extraordinary peace. And we are here to celebrate you and all the things you mean, and to show you you are truly, truly loved. You see, hey, yeah, yeah, you're truly loved. You see, hey, yeah, yeah, you're truly loved. You see, hey, yeah, yeah, you're truly loved. You see, hey, yeah, you're truly loved. You see, it's rare to find a friend that's genuine, that's everything a friend could be. I hope you understand that I am grateful, I am thankful that you've become that friend to me.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You are loved. I love that song. That song really touches me each and every time I hear it. And I just tuned into that song or became aware of it this week. And I've been pretty much playing it every day. And that'll be kind of the emphasis point in prayer. You are loved, regardless to whether we're tuned into the fact that we are loved or we feel it at any given time. We are surrounded by and are swimming in God's love, since God is always fully and completely present right where we are. And so we take that message into prayer today, and we want to make sure that we are holding our spiritual community in prayer, holding our world in prayer, holding our leaders in prayer. And I want to give a special acknowledgement to Nancy Chandler, who she's in our spiritual community, who just had knee replacement surgery this week. And Nancy is healing up wonderfully and nicely. And so we just want to acknowledge Nancy and really hold her in prayer for continued healing and wholeness, and just knowing and affirming that in a few short months, she'll be ready to run a marathon. So we'll hold that high intention for Nancy. And there's other people in our spiritual community who don't necessarily want what's going on with them necessarily out there, so to say. However, we can still hold people in our community in prayer, knowing the highest and best for them. So at this time, we'll just take a moment to settle ourselves and really attune our minds and our hearts and our inner senses to the full presence of God, knowing and affirming that God is completely present in its full concentration, in its full breadth and depth, everywhere, including right where we are. Yes, the divine is uniquely expressing in, through, and as each and every one of us, in, through, and as all people, all beings, and all things. And as we behold the divine presence, we behold that divine love, knowing and affirming that that divine love is also everywhere present, knowing and affirming that we are love, and we are loved, and we are the expression and the expressors of God's love. Oh, we allow ourselves to feel God's love. Feel it right here, right now. Feel God's love and affirm the presence of God's love everywhere, and affirm that each and every person everywhere is opening and availing themselves to God's love. We affirm God's love in all of the places where the world is singing and celebrating. And we affirm God's love in the many, many places where the world is hurting, where there is suffering, where there is pain. We affirm God's love flowing forth into the minds and the hearts of all of those everywhere, bringing guidance where it's needed, bringing wisdom where it's needed, bringing creativity and innovation right where it's needed, bringing healing right where it's needed, right now. God is flowing forth right now, bringing exactly what is needed in order for the divine thought to be magnified, in order for divine love to be manifested and magnified right now, right now, right now. We feel it. We affirm it. We know that it is true. We see, sense, feel, and know God's love right where we are and everywhere present. We feel it. Oh, we are so grateful this morning, grateful for our spiritual community, grateful for another opportunity to express this divine love that we are. We're so grateful. We know and affirm God's presence everywhere. We are grateful. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
So some of you are already familiar with this song. I need your help. We want to record your energy. We talked a little bit about recognizing oneness, recognizing perfection, recognizing God the good is everywhere. That's what this is about. Check it out. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they notice you. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they know the truth. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they notice you. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they know the truth. I say yes. I say yes. I say yes. I say yes, yes, yes. Call and responds. I say yes. I say yes. I say yes. I say yes, yes, yes. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they notice you. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they know the truth. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they know it's you. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they know the truth. I say yes. I say yes. I say yes. I say yes, yes, yes. I say yes. I say yes. And I say yes. I say yes, yes, yes. Oh, and the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they notice you. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they know the truth. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they know it's you. And the whole wide world is gonna say yes when they know the truth. I say yes. I say yes. I say yes. I say yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good morning, Unity. Please repeat after me. I bring order to chaos. I bring order to chaos. I am the key to restore calm in troubled times. I am the key to restore calm in troubled times. I am a key to God's divine order. I am a key to God's divine order. And so it is. Amen. As we go into meditation, I want you to get comfortable in your seats. Either lower your eyelids or close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath and let it out slowly. Take another nice deep breath and let it out slowly. And take one more nice deep breath and let it out slowly. Let's go to your heart space. You are standing in your favorite room. You look down at your hand. A brass key is laying in the middle of your palm. You pause to take a good look at the key. You take a breath. You know this key. It is to something important, but what? There it is, the answer, you. You are the key to understanding how to order your feelings, breathe, and let go of your worries. You are the key to order. How you let in positive flow and how to let go of what no longer serves your highest good. You are the key to order. How you share your God-given divine love to cast out hatred. You are the key to unlock how to shine to humanity, grace, and kindness. You are the key to unlock all to the universe. Now is the time for you to use your key. Now is the time to call to order your God-given power for your greatest and highest good. Take a breath and let it out. When you are ready to come back to your seats, wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready to open your eyes, you may do so.
When I asked for this song to be whatever Source was seeking for it to be, the words came out much like the previous song as a prayer, except it's a prayer from the higher self to the lower self. Check it out. Or the higher self to the imaginary lower self. Here I am. I've heard that you've been looking for me. A part of me to look for me. I think it's kind of funny. Here I am, waiting for you. To listen for me now. I can wait for as long as it takes. Because everything's already here right now, right now. Holy instant, holy moment. But you know that you love to suffer until you're ready for some higher good. It's all good that you say, it's all good, 'cause I made it that way. The essence is eternal, an extension of myself, holy instant, holy moment. Holy instant, holy moment. Your creation of form is something else, beauty but not real. So don't get caught in how you feel when you see something go down that you don't like. Remember, oh remember, there's no wrong and there's no right. Holy instant, holy moment. Holy instant, holy moment. And I will lead you home. Don't be afraid to speak to me and ask whatever you may need. Don't be afraid to let it go. Ask whatever you need to know. Holy instant, holy moment. And I will lead you home. Holy instant, holy moment. And I will lead you home. Be afraid to ease the pain. Cry and feel the love of day. Don't be afraid to ease the pain. Cry and feel the love of day. Holy, 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 keep it going. We're saying home, holy, holy. You can join in. Think of it as a chant. Jennifer blessed us with. Holy, 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 holy.
Hmm. Good morning again. Between that music and that meditation, I'm pretty full. My cup runneth over. So we'll see how much of it I pour out. Normal, an interesting word. Very interesting word. What is normal? Does anybody know? Anybody have any ideas, any guesses to what normal is, especially during these very troubling, tense-filled, trying times? In all honesty, I don't really think that there is a normal. And in reality, what is normal is always the collection of things to what is commonly agreed upon in any given group of people. And really, what is normal for one person is not normal for the other person. I'm reminded of a quote, and I'm going to paraphrase here, that what's normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. So in these times when many of us are trying to gain a footing, trying to gain a sense of stability, trying to gain a sense of being sure and faith-filled that we're navigating what's going on, here we are. And there's things that are happening, lots of shifts, lots of things that are occurring. Some are very favorable and positive, and others not so much. And really, for all of us who are human beings, we're all being pretty taxed in one way or another, whether we are willing to admit it or not. So what is normal? And you see that on the screen. I thought I'd put that up there to give you a chance to turn your head, get some blood flow in a little different way, trying to see that upside down normal. But I think it's healthy to acknowledge the things that are happening that are not so great, that are not so good, things where people are actually struggling, where there's a lot of suffering that's going on. I was doing some research yesterday and saw that during this pandemic time, when we're physical distancing, when we're all wearing masks and businesses are either not open or not functioning the way they normally have been, and everything was shut down for a time, that had a tremendous effect on people. Over 40 million Americans have filed for unemployment since the outbreak of the pandemic, whereas the measured jobless rate is somewhere around 14, 15%, and measured meaning the people who are out of work that are actually looking for work. Real unemployment is hovering around 23%. That is close to Depression era levels, believe it or not. 12 million people have lost their employer-based health insurance. And that is on top of the 30 million people prior to the pandemic that didn't have health insurance. Evictions and foreclosures are up and increasing because as people have been out of work and haven't had access to enough money to be able to live, mortgages have gone past due. Rents have gone past due. And so people are struggling in that regard. There's been a worldwide increase in domestic violence incidents, worldwide. And in this country, shootings have been on an increase, both nationally and right here in the city of Wichita. Mental health issues have increased. Suicide ideation, meaning people who have contemplated suicide based upon many surveys, has increased. And so too is substance abuse. In addition to the stresses that are directly related to the pandemic, COVID-19, social isolation, where people haven't been able to gather regularly because of quarantining, because of limiting their interactions to slow the spread or to prevent the possibility of, or minimize the possibility, I'm sorry, from getting sick. Economic stressors and political strife are taking a toll on the mental health of many Americans. Oh, by the way, there's civil unrest happening, political upheaval happening. I'm not saying all these things to depress people or to bring people down, but I think it is healthy and instructive to acknowledge what's really happening and the ways in which human beings are hurting, are in pain, are struggling. That's why the selections of songs from John Stringer are the songs that we selected to kind of remind us of that sense of togetherness, that sense of oneness, that sense of love that is sorely needed during times like this. Yet on balance, there are positive things that are happening. And I think that it is healthy and important, even though people are struggling, it's healthy and important to acknowledge the many positive things that are happening. We should acknowledge the high school teenagers that are in Santa Barbara, California, who created a website where senior citizens can sign up to have have a high schooler pick up their groceries that they order and deliver it to them for free. So here's a group of high school people that decided that they just wanted to make life a little easier for some of the most vulnerable of us. There's countless stories of people using this time of quarantine and isolation to really get reflective and introspective, with less activity and with more time on people's hands. There are a lot of people that have gotten really clear about who they are and really clear about what's going on in their lives and the direction that their lives are going. This has caused many people to make shifts, many healthy and meaningful shifts. People are deciding upon career changes. People are getting reflexive about strained relationships and errors and mistakes that they've made, and they're going back and making amends with people to which they have shared or strained relationships. And there's still other people who, during this time of introspection, have really gotten honest about the unhealthiness of current relationships they're in, and they're making the decision to move on from those kinds of things. And we all know about stories of people who have volunteered to make masks for essential workers, masks for people who work in hospitals and medical facilities, masks for people who are underprivileged and less fortunate. And there's the Texas Roadhouse CEO who made the decision to give up his salary and his bonus for the entire year so that his employees can still realize an income and they can still have their benefits. How about the mystery mom in Severna Park, Maryland, who sets up a table in her neighborhood full of sack lunches for anyone who's hungry or who could use a lunch and may not have access to food? Or how about that 11-year-old girl in Nebraska, just north of us, who along with her older sister and their mini pony that they've named Little Peanut, who go and visit nursing homes to bring the pony so it brings joy and lightheartedness to many of the senior citizens there who are in the final season of their lives. So there are many good things that are happening. There are people who are getting very innovative and creative in looking at new and fresh ways of doing the things that they've always done. So there's good happening along with the challenges. So it's important to take stock of all of it and coming to a real understanding of where we are. And so in consideration of all this, I want to look at this on two different levels. One on a more micro level, and then look at it from a macro level. In terms of the micro level, this limited isolation has some people really struggling. We as human beings, we are relational beings. We are designed, constructed, and built for connection. And the limiting of connection that is happening, there are people that are really struggling with that right now, some more than others. We could stand and to realize that though in my life, I may be getting along okay and navigating okay, that's not true for everybody. Some of us are thriving. Some of us, have taken this time and we are coming up with new creativity, new insights, new things that are happening, and we are thriving. But there's others of us that are absolutely hurting. And oh, by the way, we're coming up on 200,000 COVID-related deaths. So we could stand to upgrade our humanity. We could stand to upgrade our compassion. We could stand to upgrade our sense of love, as the first song, we are loved. We are carriers and expressors of God's love. It's healthy for us to realize that as we navigate the challenges ourselves, and if we could really realize that and really muster that sense of love up to come alongside of people who are struggling, people who may be hurting. And oh, by the way, human beings are very good actors. We don't always let on when we're struggling, because we live in a culture that tells us to keep a stiff upper lip, rise above, overcome, never let them see you sweat. And meanwhile, while many of us are carrying on that act, we are absolutely wounded and hurting inside. So check on your friends, check on your loved ones. And this is why we have been saying, Samantha and I, this is physical distancing, not social distancing. Just because we are physically distanced, we can still reach out. There are some things that we can still do in connecting with other people. Again, we are walking each other home. We can make this navigation a little bit easier for all of us by upgrading our sense of compassion. And the word compassion is an interesting word. It's not a word that people mean. Most people think of compassion of, I'm going to reach down and help a person who is beneath me. That's not what compassion is. Compassion comes from the root Latin words, com means with or together. Passion means to suffer. The word compassion literally means to suffer together. Now, I know in our spiritual circles, we don't like that word, suffering. However, the word compassion is an invitation that to come alongside of each other and help to support each other and help to, instead of reaching down, how about I get down and we come up together? How about that? Instead of what that person is going through, that's their issue. That's what's going on with them. So we could really, we should use what is happening to get a clear sense of what the world needs, and then make a decision to be the light. Make a decision to be the place where God shows up. I'm going to be the place where God shows up and be that light and embody the necessary consciousness to allow that flow to come through. Speaking of flow, this past Tuesday, we started the first week in a 5-week book study that we're doing. And the book is Eric Butterworth's In the Flow of Life. In the Flow of Life. And in one of these chapters, there is a chapter called Life Comes to Pass. And in that chapter, a particular passage of scripture is made very prominent. And it is the Psalms, chapter 23, verses 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you, meaning the divine, God the good, are with me. And when you see there in the monitor, I have emphasis on the words through and the words are, because God is fully present right now where we are as we walk through this experience together, individually and as a collective. But we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. We are walking through this experience. And this leads me to the macro level of things that I wanted to examine all of what's going on in. We are walking through this experience together. We are walking through. We hold those who have suffered at the deepest levels. We hold them in our prayers constantly, knowing health and wholeness. For those families who have lost loved ones, we know comfort and strength and love for them. For those who are in the midst of the suffering, either directly from the virus or suffering in any of the other ways that I mentioned earlier, we hold them in our prayers, knowing health and wholeness and abundance and well-being for them as we all walk through this experience. And in this book, Eric Butterworth kind of elaborates a little bit on this particular scripture. And I wanted to read some words that he mentions here. We need to give special emphasis to that word through. There are times when we seem to be dwelling in the valley, but the psalmist says, though I walk through the valley, I fear no evil. He, meaning the psalmist, he knows that the valley is open at both ends, that life is a flowing experience, and that the dark shadows of the valley will eventually give way to the light of a new day and new experiences. So as we're walking through this experience in this valley, the valley is open it's open at both ends. It's like a tunnel. There's light at both ends. So there's light at the beginning of the tunnel and there's light at the end of the tunnel. So as we recognize that God is fully complete and completely present in the experience, we can allow ourselves to go through the experience and be a comforting presence to those who are hurting, those who are suffering. Reach out if we're the ones who are hurting, if we're the ones who are having a tough time. Don't be afraid to reach out to a loved one to have them come alongside of you, because it is a very trying time. So we can do that while at the same time recognize that we're going through the experience and be open and available for what new might be emerging. What might be emerging from this? And that touches back on this whole idea of normal. Many of us have said that we want things to get back to normal. In reality, normal is always a fluctuating thing. What was normal 1,000 years ago in culture and society and other things is not normal today. And you see the quote there, normality is a paved road. It's comfortable to walk, but no flowers grow because the road is paved and it won't allow for any new flowering. What are we learning during this experience? How is our awareness and our consciousness expanding, deepening, widening during this experience? What are we learning about ourselves? What is this experience showing us individually and collectively that we need to get gut honest about? And how can we take that learning and how can we take that expansion and be a part of the new normal that's emerging, the new that's emerging? How can we be a greater healing presence for what this experience is showing us, what is needed? So my invitation today is Don't get so comfortable with normal, and dare to be on the razor's edge of what's happening. Dare to be on the cutting, innovative edge of what might be emerging that could be greater and more beneficial and lead us to a world that works for all. Because I don't know if you realize it or not, as we go through experiences in our lives, when we come out on the other side, we're not the same person that we were when we underwent the experience. When we overcome our traumas and overcome our fears and our error thinking, and we come out on the other side of, we're not the same person that we were. When we have an expansion of awareness and consciousness going through an experience, we're not the same person that we were. And because we're not the same person that we were, with a more mature consciousness, that is an invitation to display that consciousness in ways that are beautiful, that are beneficial, that are healthy, that are vibrant, that are alive, that have a more healing effect in the world and a healing effect in our own lives. So we should absolutely be present in understanding that there's hurting in the world right now. And we should have a sense of empathy and compassion, prayerful empathy and compassion in that regard. We should be open and available. And this is what unity asks us, challenges us to do, to have the awareness that the divine is present, even in this experience. And that divine presence will account for a lot of healing and consoling. However, it will also prep us for what may be emerging. And what emerges is really up to us. It's up to us. We can go back to what is normal. And in that body of consciousness of what was normal, it kind of paved the way for some of the difficulties that we're experiencing right now. Or we can be the change that we want to see in the world. Instead of focusing on what the world lacks, we can dare to focus on what the world needs and what our families need and what our communities need and what we need, and allow that divine flowing forth to fortify us to be the change that is so needed, so that God has greater expression in, through, and as us. That's the challenge. That's the invitation today. It's not necessarily about going back to something as it is giving birth to something. That's the invitation that I would like for all of us to consider. How can we show up in a greater way? How can we open up more to our own dreams and our own prosperity and to our own healing and to our own well-being? How can this experience, what are we learning from this experience that is fortifying us to those ends? Recognizing the fact that we are living God's life and we can express God's life in a greater way. That's the invitation, my friends. That's the invitation, my beloved family, because I do consider you all family. So what is normal? Now, let's not focus so much on normal. And let's work together to make a very soul-nurturing world where all beings are affirmed. As always, I hold you all in a very sacred space. And into that sacred space, I speak a simple word of prayer. Life, light, and love to you all. God bless you.
Thank you, Art. We are certainly blessed here at Unity of Wichita by the music, the message, the meditation, and for all of you joining us today live. And please consider giving us a tithe of offering this morning for those of you who would like to have an electronic tithe given on a secure financial gift. You can certainly do that on our webpage at www.unityofwichita.org/donations and push the donate button, or you can mail in a check to the address on the screen directly to Unity of Wichita. Whatever amount you are guided to give today, just hold it over your heart. Visualize that electronic tithe and offering blessing, and join us together as we speak the words together. Divine love flowing from me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Amen.
Well, good morning and welcome to Unity's awesome time of announcements where you get to know everything that's going on. So first of all, Art mentioned the book study that's going on for In the Flow of Life by Eric Butterworth. Now, if you guys have not read this book, you want to. Just trust me, you want to. So go ahead and add yourself into the group. It's not too late. Book studies are great because you get to kind of discuss and weave yourself in and out of the book and learn so many new things. So check that out. It's starting again on September the 15th, and that's from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And the Zoom link is in the e-blast as well as on the calendar on the website. Our big excitement that I mentioned last week was that we are going to have Erin Osbeck. She is going to be here to share the Enneagram theory, the Enneagram personality type system with us in a course that is, it's $59 per person. Now, here's the special thing about Erin, is that she is a trained expert in the Enneagram. She is one of the only people in the city of Wichita who is certified in leading the Enneagram classes in the very unique way that she does. So I'm very excited. The book that you'll need is The Road Back to You. It's pictured on the screen there, The Enneagram Journey to Self-Discovery. So that link to sign up, you'll have to go through Eventbrite. I don't know that it's Eventbrite, but it's a different event hosting website. So click on that link. That's where you'll register for the class. If you need help, don't hesitate to call me. I will help you register for that and get going. That starts October 1st. So it runs 5 weeks and it will be fabulous. Now, talking about Zoom, we have so many things to offer on Zoom coming up at the end of this month. Now think about this. We are starting our spirit groups session again. So one of the spirit group sessions is going to be The Eye of the Storm. Okay. Eye of the Storm is a book by Gary Simmons. Many of you have already heard of this book. Many of you may have read it already, but this is a great book that's centered on being the calm in chaos. So while the world around you in the pandemic, as Art was talking about, the elections, everything that's going on around the world, and here we are in Wichita, Kansas, in our homes, maybe watching the news, watching social media, and we're feeling that chaos maybe all around us. This is a wonderful opportunity to learn a little bit more about just centering in and being that calm. So that's coming up as a spirit group. Then we will have a movement and meditation spirit group. So this is going to be a special one that's going to feature exercise as well as meaningful, mindful movement as a meditation. So you don't want to miss those two. I think there's a couple more in the works. I'm not sure, but I know those two are for certain. So be sure that you check the website calendar, check your e-blast, make sure that you get onto the women's group on Wednesdays, get into the book studies, get into the spirit groups, and get into the discussions. You're not going to want to miss any of it. Then, of course, we have our youth department, the amazing youth of Unity, and Kelly McFarland, who's been leading that. She's doing an awesome job. It came to my attention that we didn't have the updated information for the youth department. So we will have that in this week's e-blast. So be sure and check that out, although the numbers are the same. So as we move into blessing our youth, let's go ahead and just envision them. I know that I can hear my guy upstairs, but think about your grandkids, your kids, heck, yourself. We're all young. We're all young at heart. We're all amazing. So let's hold that vision and connect in our heart space as we bless these young people. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. And so with that,
Just as you are.
Gonna kick it right back over to Art. So, hey, Art.
You hear me?
I can hear you
And
now.
just as you are. And just as you are. Thank you so much for your presence, your energy. It made this a very wonderful experience. So at this time, we are all going to perform our prayer protection, and then we will have the peace song, which we can meditatively or contemplatively reflect on the idea of peace. And there's our prayer protection. Let us affirm it together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my sign.